Michael Shikha Niketan Higher Secondary Government-sponsored co-ed English medium school has taken an excellent initiative of teaching and make our students learn day-to-day lessons through audio and video in our YouTube channel. Teachers of all the subjects are working hard to enhance these online classes in the midst of this pandemic situation. It is a request to all the teachers, students and guardians to click the bell icon and subscribe our channel.
Today's class is class 9 and the topic is nationalism, okay? Nation state and nationalism with the conflict of monarchianism. Class 9 history, okay? So before starting about the nationalism or the emergence of nation state or the conflict of monarchical versus nationalism, we have to go through some perspectives regarding why this particular part of history had happened in past. Fine. So after knowing this, then only we can go through the chapters properly. So while the French Revolution and the outbreak of French Revolution, we can say, or the continuous process of French Revolution, and after the period of French Revolution, suddenly the Napoleonic Wars emerged. So in the first chapter we have read about French Revolution, and in the second chapter we have read about the Napoleonic Wars. So in the first chapter we have read or we have studied that simultaneously the fear of people regarding their monarchical outburst suddenly did not emerge as an overnight. It was the simultaneous process of day by day or night after night. Simultaneously or similarly, the nationalism or the emergence of nation as a state occurred simultaneously. It did not happen as an overnight. Likewise, the Napoleonic War and the French Revolution. Now let's come to the topic of the emergence of nation state and the emergence of nationalism as a unity or as a thought. So the French Revolution or the French Revolution's impact was all over in the world. When we are going through the histories or when we are reading the international relations of history, we will be knowing that the impact of French Revolution had fallen the entire world in different places in a different way. So there was already an impact of French Revolution among the commoners or among the peoples. Likewise, there was also an impact of Napoleonic Wars as a form of independent ruler or as a form of the making of unified Italy or unified Europe. So there were two impacts which had fallen to the thought process or to the changes of nations as a nation state and the thoughts of nationalism. Fine. So let's know about what are the circumstances or situation which had fallen the impact on the creation of nation state. First we will be knowing that. So here I have written the nation state and nationalism. First we will be knowing what is nation state and how the idea of nation state emerged. So the first thing we are going to read that what is nationalism. Okay, the question is what is nationalism or what is nation state. So first is what is nation state, then only we are going the idea of nationalism. First we will be pointing out the concept of nation state. After knowing what is nation state, we will be going the idea of nationalism. Okay. So here when what is nation state, the answer would be or the explanation of nation state would be when a group of people living in one particular geographical area sharing same history, languages, ethics, culture said to be as a nation state. Okay. So now what brought, or what are the factors responsible for the nation state? What are the factors? Why suddenly as a thought of nation state emerged on the people or on the brains of the people? So let's study that. So the first reason or the first factor responsible for the nation state was the weakening of powerful feudal lords. So we have already read in the French Revolution that the feudal lords were very harshful on the peoples. They used to impose levy taxes, which you have read, the indirect tax and direct tax and various other taxes in different places depend on their finances. So people were outbreaking against the monarchical issues. So that particular feudal lord had weakened in the 19th century in Italy, in France, or we can say in European as a Europe. The first is weakening of powerful feudal lords. Number two important factor is demolition of churchial authority. This demolition of churchial authority meant that during that time, obviously you have read in French Revolution and in the first chapter and second chapter, that the authority of church were equally there as the authority of powerful monarchs, or powerful monarchical systems were imposed on them. So the church system or the authority of church, that particular item had been demolished completely. This is the second factor which brought the nation state. Now we shall be going in the third part. Absolute monarchical, whatever you can say. So absolute monarchical is that there would be no in process of variations between any monarch. If there is one, there would be only one monarch, which to some extent helped the unifications of European and emerged as a state too. Now the fourth factor responsible is the financial support of middle class people to the king. So we all know that the important factor to maintain anything, that is money, finances. So the financial support, the constant financial support of rich middle class peoples or businessmen led to the emerge of nation state. And this particular financial support had been provided by the middle class businessmen to the kings, so that the king should not have any kind of backladed authority to the richer powers in their particular states or nations. Fifth point is that above mentioned jointly brought the sense of nation state. So above mentioned factors jointly as a whole emerged the thoughts of nation state. And the last but not the least, the first two strong nation state which emerged is England and France. I repeat the name. The first two nation state emerged, that is England and France. Okay, this is clear. Now the next topic. The next topic is nationalism. Earlier we have read that what is nation state, what are the factors responsible for the nation state. Now we will go to nationalism. Okay, the idea of nationalism, or what are the factors responsible for nationalism, what is nationalism. Okay, so let's start from here. What is nationalism? Nationalism is a sense of unity, feeling felt by as a unified way is a nationalism. So what is nationalism? It is a sense of feeling. Okay, it is a sense of feeling. A feeling is a part of emotions. It is a part of thought. It can be a positive thought, it can be a negative thought, but it is a thought, it's an emotion, it's a feeling which have been felt during the French Revolution or after the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars. Okay, it had made the imprint, The French Revolution had left the imprint of the thought or the feelings of nationalism. And the common meaning of nationalism, a sense of unity. What is the meaning of nationalism? The common meaning of nationalism is a sense of unity among diversified peoples. A sense of unity among diversified people said to be a sense of feeling of nationalism. Now let's study what are the factors responsible for the nationalism. First factor is uprooting feudalism. So as the feudal lords or the feudal system had been abolished, obviously that had helped to bring back the sense of nationalism. And number two is emergence of modern nationalism. So during that time, people were separately or in various way, they were bringing back not the past but the future or the present in a modern way, a feeling of nationalism, a feeling of unity among them. And next was Napoleonic Wars. Napoleonic Wars, as I have already mentioned, the feeling of nationalism, definitely the Napoleonic Wars of unification of Italy or the unification of Europe had to some extent left the imprint of the thoughts of nationalism. Now number two is French Revolution. I have already explained that the imprint or the factors of French Revolution paved the way of nation state, and from nation state the thoughts of nationalism. Next is unification of people. So people behind or beside having different kind of diversified language, culture, their custom, their religious factors, they were emerging as a unified way, as in unity among them. So the sense of unity had been created by Napoleonic Wars, and the imprints of French Revolution had provided them to emerge as a unity among them. Okay, after this we shall be learning about the downfall of Napoleonic Empire. So obviously as Napoleon only ruled for 4 to 5 years max to max, but the Napoleon were never having the idea of nationalism. He never proclaimed the concept of nationalism among them. So when the wars of Napoleonic were simultaneously conquering or conducting, so these factors to some extent helped the people to unified among them, but apart from unification or the feeling of unity, they were having the idea of nationalism as an independent way, which Napoleon were against them. So the concept or the downfall of Napoleon helped back the thought of nationalism. Next is, after the downfall of Napoleonic Empire, in 1815, I repeat the year, in 1815, so the century will be 19th century and the year is 1815, Napoleon been overthrown by his empire, and the entire coalition of Central Power or European power led to the downfall of Napoleon II. Then he has been sent to exile in Elba, it's an island. And the last boom or last future or destination of Napoleon Bonaparte was the defeat of Waterloo. So he had been defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in the year 1815. In the year 1815, and the Battle of Waterloo. So this was his final boom of his entire life, and which has destroyed the entire scenario of Napoleonic Wars and the Napoleon Bonaparte's issues and wishes to see Europe as a unified way but not as a nationalistic way or independent way. Next topic is the conflict of monarchical and nationalist ideas. So before going to this part, we shall be learning about after 1815 what was the scenario of commoners or common people. So after the battle or the defeation of Napoleon Bonaparte in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, the common people were thinking to have a unity among them, and their thoughts had been divided in the two folds. Number one fold was democracy, and number two fold is democracy, and number one fold is nationalism. I repeat the same. The idea of common people after the Battle of Waterloo or after the year 1815 has been divided into twofold. Number one was nationalism, number two was democracy. So they were wanting independence in that way, but not only the independence in a general way or in a normal way, they were also wanting the democratic rights for them and the unity of nationalism or nation as a state. Nationalism, they were wanting that too. So the constant war of Napoleon has to some extent defeated or deconstructed the map of Europe. Okay, so the constant wars of Napoleon for the unification of Europe, this had left the imprint of destruction in the map of Europe. So to sort out the problem in the map of Europe, the Vienna Congress occurred. So now let's come in the Vienna Congress. Vienna Congress. So Vienna Congress, basically it was a party which has been conducted by the conservative peoples or the conservative powers in Europe. Okay, they were the conservative. They had joined, and the name of the place was Vienna, and community on organization occurred or discovered or planned out. So that particular entire scenario said to be a Vienna Congress. Now we shall be learning about what are the objectives of Vienna Congress. What were the objectives of Vienna Congress? First objective was the diplomats of European power assembled in Vienna. What is the meaning of diplomats? The meaning of diplomats is conservative people. They were not liberal, neither modernized. They were the conservative people. It means the people who were not having any idea of modernized way. They were only having the thoughts of which were happening in the past. Conservative peoples, you know. Number two is restoration of pre-revolutionary period. So, what is the meaning of pre-revolutionary period? The period which were there before the revolutionary period. It means before the period or before the kingship or rulingship of French Revolution, before French Revolution. So the diplomats of Vienna Congress want to restore the power of the period before the French Revolution. Fine. Number three is what it brought? It brought the legitimacy. The idea of legitimacy to restore the pre-revolutionary period. It brought the idea of legitimacy. Number fourth is the domination of Austria. So obviously with the help of legitimacy of pre-revolutionary period, the king or the most hated Bourbon dynasty came to be power, and they captured or reconquered the areas of Austria, Germany, Prussia, England and so on. This was the objectives of Vienna Congress, and the dominations of Austria over Germany and Prussia was the impact of Vienna Congress only. Now we shall be learning about the verses. It means there should be, if some people are talking about for Vienna Congress, there were some people who were also talking against Vienna Congress. It means there were people who want that there would be Vienna Congress, but there were some people who were not having the or they were not wanting the objects or concepts of what Vienna Congress wanted. So here we shall be concentrating that the conflict of monarchical and nationalist ideas. So who were nationalist ideas, or what is nationalist ideas? The modern nationalism said to be as a nationalist ideas, And the monarchical, it means the objectives of Vienna Congress led to monarch, and hence their ruling period or ruling kingship said to be monarchical or monarchical. So here the some verses. So these are the objectives of Vienna Congress, these are the thoughts of Vienna Congress. Now here in this point we shall be learning about, for this particular purposes, for this particular points, what the idea of nationalism or the people who having the favor of nationalism thought to be. First is concept brought back the wheel in reverse. It means the concept of past, all thanks to Vienna Congress, the concept of past, that is the pre-revolutionary period, whatever the situation was there, that particular situation brought back. So hence sarcastically it has been said that the concept of Vienna Congress brought back the wheel in reverse. Okay. The next is despotic monarch was thrust by the people in denial. So the people who were wanting the nationalism, they did not had any support on the power of Vienna Congress. They did deny that no, we don't want that. So that is denial. Number third is peaceful agitation of people is no result. So during that time people were doing agitations against the Vienna Congress or against the government. So that particular peaceful agitation did not had any impact on the people. Last is despotic rule provoked the people in France and Germany and etc. So what is despotic rule? The despotic rule is the monarchical despotic. That means the divine authority which you have learned in chapter 2. That particular rule did what? It provoked the common people and they fought back, and the particular states has been mentioned, that is France and Germany. The peoples from France, Germany, Prussia, Russia, etc. have been provoked by the concepts of Vienna Congress, and they emerged as a nationalist impact on the thoughts of to bring back the nationalism among them. Now, as all the nationalist ideas were having and all the concept of demolition, agitations, revolt back were happening, simultaneously Vienna Congress definitely not been the support of the thought of nationalism. So what could be done? So now let's come to the part of Metternich. Metternich, he was a vice chancellor in Austria and he was a member of Vienna Congress too. He brought an idea, and that idea named to be or called to be as a Metternich system. Okay. So who Metternich was? Metternich, Giuseppe Metternich. His full name was Giuseppe Metternich, and he was the vice chancellor from the state Austria in Vienna Congress. So we are learning. So let's read this point. The chancellor of Austria, that is Giuseppe Mazzini, of Vienna Congress totally disregarded the principles of nationalism, and its work was bound to be temporary, though his system of arrangements known as Metternich system. So what we are learning from this part, we are learning that Metternich system or the Giuseppe Metternich brought out the middle pathway from the Vienna Congress, and he disregarded the thoughts of nationalism and the concept and the work of nationalism. Okay, so he find out an different path of system, and that system said to be or called to be Metternich system or Metternich system. So now we shall learn about what are the objectives, what are the thoughts of Metternich system. So first thought we shall consider reading that it considered monarchy as a natural form of government. So according to Metternich system, he considered that the monarchical rule said to be as a natural government. Natural government. Don't forget this point that Metternich has followed. He considered monarchical system as a natural form of government. Number 2 was presence of king as a head of department will smooth out process. So Metternich is thinking that the presence of king as a head of the department will smooth out the works or the processes of the entire scenarios of in a government. Number 3rd is he took steps to prevent nationalism and liberalism. This is one of the most important aspects of his objectives, that he also took steps to prevent it means to stop the ideas of nationalism or the emergence of nationalism and liberalism among the people. Okay, next point is conspiracy of Europe paved the way of threat to the state. So the extra conspiracy or the continuous conspiracy of Europe, it had showed the path of political threat among the people. And last is quadruple alliances. Quadruple alliances of big powers. So what is the meaning of quadruple? It means there were 4 big powers which had helped for this particular aspect. Number 1 was Austria, number 2 was Prussia, number 3 was Russia, and number 4 was England. I repeat the name of the big powers. Number 1 is Austria, number 2 is Prussia, number 3 is Russia, and number 4 is England. Okay, so this part is over now. Next come to the another part. That is, what are the aspirations of people in Europe? Now, the concept or the idea what people aspired, the people of Europe aspired, what are their wishes, what they want their Europe to be. Okay, so as I already said that the thoughts of Europe had been divided into 2 folds. Number 1 was nationalist and number 2 was Democrats, and these 2-fold thoughts had provided the people a strength of struggle, and obviously all thanks to the strength of struggle, it automatically guided them to achieve the unity among them, and it definitely brought back the nationalism which were happening during in the past. Now the next concept is July Revolution of 1830. This is one of the most important concept because this July Revolution, okay, of 1830 brought back the, it didn't actually definitely brought back, but it had paved the way or it had created the path to form Italy as a united way. Okay, so first what did happen? So during the July Revolution said that the normal people or the common people, they have marched to Frankfurt Hall and they have agitated before the government or against the government to show them and to give them the liberal and provide them the independent ruling authority. First they went to France, which you have to read in your textbook. Then after all the happening over in the France, they were Louis XVIII ruling. So during 1830, the ruler or despotic monarch, the ruler was Louis XVIII. So after the death of Louis XVIII in 1830, his brother Charles X ascended the throne, and as soon as Charles X ascended the throne, he brought back the complete despotic monarchy, which to some extent again agitated or feared and brought back the anger of common people. Then Charles X been abdicated and then been killed and murdered. And the July Revolution's impact had been said as echoes of July Revolution in Europe. So the entire parts of Europe, the echoes or the sounds or the impact of July Revolution had fallen. Last, so after the echoes of July Revolution in Europe, after 1830 Revolution in July, Belgium declared as a self-independent. So Belgium themselves declared as an independent state in 1831. In the year 1831. So after this, let's read about Risorgimento. So what is Risorgimento? During 19th century, a movement for the unification of Italy called to be Risorgimento. And the exact meaning or the common meaning of Risorgimento is renewal. Whatever old form was happening in Italy, the renew process or a new or modernized process said to be or named as Risorgimento. Next, we shall be learning about Mazzini. Mazzini was an Italian politician. Who was Mazzini? Mazzini was an Italian politician, journalist, activist for the unification of Italy. Okay, and he had also made a group called Young Italy. He had also made a group called Young Italy. So what were the objectives of Young Italy? It was a political movement of Italian youth founded in 1831 by Mazzini. Its goal was to create a unity among the Italians, unity of nationalism among the Italians. Next is, we shall be learning about Belgium, Mazzini, Young Italy. So all these three factors and all the whole factors contribution to finally bring or make unity as a nation state or Italy as a nation state. So what is the contribution? What it contributed? All the above factors what contributed? It shows the unpractical nature of Mazzini's and its organization. The frustrated people rose from slugs. The disunity of people, the disunity among the people made them realize that their unity of independence is inevitable and they have to get that. And the mental state of the nationalism had been created by Italians that was necessary to build by Italy as a nation state. And after this, the emergence of nation state occurred. So this for today's for now. Let's do in the part 2 and we shall be continuing in the next time. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Subscribe. And do share the video among your friends.